Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of UKPS. Now, this next interview with a lifer is a 20-odd year old ex-squaddy soldier of what he says was a tragic accident that happened over the Christmas period. As he's just come out of the Christmas period, I thought, why not depress you a little bit? He says it was a tragic accident, but the jury obviously didn't believe him, and he was given a life for the Big M charge. He looks about 12, this geezer. What is going on? Bang.
Okay. So why are you actually here? What actually happened?
Well, I'm here for murder, but I think there's been a mistake made myself.
Don't we all, mate? I'm sure there's a few geezers that have been lifed off that say they're innocent. Not saying he was lying, by the way. Not saying either way. He does appeal. I don't even know if he wins his appeal. I doubt he does. But so he's not going to tell you that he did it either way. Just as an FYI, most people, through my experience, are the ones that says they're truly innocent, are the ones that probably are telling the truth. But I'm not talking people with the most serious charge. I'm talking about people that are doing like 5 years, 6 years. Usually those sort of people, when they say that, are usually telling the truth. If you're a lifer, you're never going to tell the truth, are you? So you don't know either, unless you've gone guilty.
But it was a silly situation. It was my father that I'm accused of murdering. Well, my stepfather, but to me he was my father.
That's a wing. I'm never going to go back anyway, but if I did, I would hope against all hopes that I never ended up on the lifer induction unit. The lifer induction unit, standing outside the lifer office. The lifer induction office, oh mate, most induction wings, you're going in, a couple of days later you kicked off, maybe you kicked off within a week. Maybe these lifer induction units, what's the rush? Like, might be stuck on there for a couple of years. Yeah, man. Mate, imagine the feeling of seeing that. You never in your wildest dreams, from the moment you were born, would you ever once have a fleeting idea that you're going to end up on the lifer induction unit in some backwards nick. Oh, mate, it's your worst nightmare come true. I'm not saying you don't deserve it, by the way. I'm just saying, any person, no matter if they're guilty, not guilty, whatever they've done, they're going to see that sign and their heart's going to sink.
Whilst you're here, you will have a personal case officer. He will make himself known to you.
They were called personal officers in my days. They've always had them, haven't they? Personal case officer, personal officer. I'm sure in a couple of years' time it'll be rebranded, renamed, repackaged and resold as, something else. So, yeah, personal officers, personal case officer, eventually it'll be something else.
It's also up to you to make yourself known to him. Get to know him, talk to him, and as I say, if you have any problems, sort them out with Mr. Maxwell. He will be writing your reports for your boards when they come up. And from these reports, all depends how long you do. You got your sentence to do, right? You got a life sentence in front of you.
How old does he look? 12? He literally looks about 12. He's got the haircut of that kid out of the Wonder Years, mate. I mean, do you remember that show? He looks about 12. It's just the eyes. He's got mature, serious, steely eyes. Not evil eyes like the geezer in the first one, like crocodile eyes, shark eyes. He's just got a serious look about him in his eyes that says, all right, come on, have it. I can imagine him giving it really quick. If someone stuck it on him, I can imagine him reacting really quick in that situation. Just by the look there, he's got a serious look. on the 12-year-old face.
I can't say how long it is it's going to be, but you work this out. And a lot of it depends virtually on your behaviour inside, how you go about your sentence and your training as such, okay? If you are prepared to behave yourself, keep your nose clean, get on with your training, you'll be treated as such, like, you know. But if you want to make a nuisance of yourself or get into a lot of trouble and bother, which some of them do, you will be treated accordingly, okay?
For the easy way.
Well, this is it, it's fine. This is how we
Don't we all, mate? Ain't always the way, though.
prefer it, you know, we prefer it that way as well. It's down to you, like, you know, you've got your sentence to do. How you do it is entirely up to you, okay?
I've been done for one of those. The armed robbery. Just in case you were guessing which. So, nowadays, though, you can get nicked, you can get laughed off of, like, the IPPs were, you know, which were outlawed, but a lot of geezers are still in there doing them, their life sentences, and you can get that for free. GBHs, ABH, again, they got a thing now, it's been repackaged. The extended life sentence, the EPP. Was, you know, and again, the average still, I say again, I ain't even said it yet, but the average for a life sentence back then was 15 years. 15, you know, I'll give you life with a recommendation that you serve 15 years before you're up for parole. Now it's like 30, 35, 40. I'll give you life with a recommendation that you serve 35. So in the time since, it's tripled. At least doubled at least.
We had a dinner party for my family, like the four of us, my grandparents and two family friends. There were only the 8 of us there. And we had a nice dinner and quite a lot to drink. And the party broke up about midnight, I suppose. And me and my dad stayed downstairs talking. Initially discussing me leaving the army, which is what I was planning on doing. Because I'd had 4 years of it not getting very far. So I thought I was going to come out and see what I could do, you know, in the business world or whatever, you know. Anyway, about 4 o'clock in the morning, we were pretty well drunk, right? And we always got on good together, me and my dad, you know, we were really, really close. But also sort of taking the mickey out of each other, like, you know, like you do. And then he turned around and said, "Oh, well, I'm a lot better with a shotgun than you are." Like, and I said, "No, don't be silly, you know. I'm a soldier, of course I'm good with a gun. Gotta be, you know." He said, "Well, go on, prove it then." You know. I said, "Well, how are we going to prove it?" He said, "Well, go and get a couple of shotguns." So we both got shotguns. So I went upstairs and got 2 shotguns, and we had a live cartridge each. And the idea of the game was, and it was a game, the idea of the game was to see who could load the shotgun, make it ready for firing the fastest. Well, I beat him, you see, and I said, "Oh," I said, "You see, you've lost." So he said, "Well, go on, and I dare you to pull the trigger." I thought, "Well, fair, pull the trigger." So I pulled the trigger.
Do you believe him? The jury didn't. Yeah. Do you believe that story? Or do you believe the jury?
Trigger, bang. But I didn't know at the time my gun was pointing at him, and it hit him in the side of the head. Which,
Again, do you believe that part? The last part. Jury didn't. What do you think?
It made rather a mess. Well, I just threw my gun away and I went and phoned the police and waited for them to get there, like. And they took me down the station and arrested me. I don't really remember a lot about what happened. It was just that, I mean, I'm only going by what was said at the time and what the evidence was. Because I've got no memory of it at all myself. And total amnesia. With a mixture of drink and a shotgun.
How would the old Bill know what was said between them? You know, go and get it then. Who's better? Load it up. Shoot it. How would the old Bill know any of that? Unless he told him. Again, I don't mean anything really. That bit don't make sense, does it?
First place. But when I went up for trial, the jury found me guilty of murder. So hence I'm doing life. It's quite difficult trying to live without him too, because I mean, he meant everything to me. I mean, I've got no one to run to now if I've got a problem. It's, whenever I got problems, I always went home and spoke to my dad. I never made a decision until I spoke to him either. Which is why I was speaking to him about leaving the army, which is now I've got to do things on my own. I mean, I still with my mum and my sister, but he was really something special.
But do you think your discipline in army life is enabling you now to come to terms with a life sentence?
Yeah, it's certainly helping.
That's what's holding you together, because you seem very unemotional about it, restrained and controlled. No reason why you should be emotional. But,
well, there is. I mean, okay, I could be cracking up, throwing a panic. But the way I was trained, if you don't panic when things are a bit sticky, because if you panic, you're going to get into more trouble. So if I just remain cool.
Cool as a cucumber. What's he putting through his hair, mate? I didn't know Head and Shoulders existed back then. You've got some volume on it, hasn't he? Proper bouncy, mate. Like you could probably get into it and go to sleep in it. Sorry about that. Whoa. Whoa. Prison uniforms don't change, by the way. You still get out them blue and white shirts now. Is it blue and white stripes? I can't tell with my eyes, mate. Or is it? It's just it's an old bit of footage, isn't it? I can't tell.
And do as I'm told. Be polite. I'll get on.
Cells are exactly the same. Well, they got like plug sockets added now and a TV in it, but the beds, the brickwork, everything is the same.
I'll get by. And then come the end of it, I can walk away and say, well, I did all right there. I kept my head and I'm okay.
That's all anyone wants as well, just to get in and get out.
But nobody's going to benefit if I start causing trouble or throwing a panic, so it's just a question of sit back and wait for the end.
and if your appeal fails, you could face some considerable years in prison as a very young man.
Oh, certainly. But then there's a bright side to it. I am a young man, and I'll still be a young man when I get out. There's a bright side to everything. So it's, I mean, I'm 23 now. If I do 8 years, I'll be 31.
I'm 23 now, but we'll live to see 24 the way things... Sorry.
Still a young man. So there's just no problem. I mean, it's a problem being locked up, sure, but I can handle it. There's 300 people in here handling it every day, so if they can do it, I can do it.
Again, not condoning anything, condoning anything he did, but that's the best outlook to have. You know, we can all sit there and whine and cry and bitch and say poor me, boo-hoo, but at the end of the day, you've got to get on it. You've got to get on with it, and it's not going to make your time go any quicker whinging and crying about it, so you just soldier on, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I met some lifers when I was banged up, and most of them, they're the ones that they're the ones that have everyone that are more level-headed than everyone. I suppose you've got to be in it when you're doing that. When you've got to get your head round, the fact that you haven't got a release date. Essentially, you know, you've got to try and scrape one however you can. You know, claw one out of nothing. Then you sort of got to become patient and level-headed and all the words that make a successful person, I suppose, because what's the alternative? To crumble and weep and not get through it. Like he said, who's it going to benefit? It certainly ain't going to benefit him. If you enjoyed that, I'm sure we will see each other again for part 4, is it? Either way, you'll be back. I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.